So this brings us to another contemporary labor issues and policies which affect labor force participation and the outcomes that we see for individuals within the labor force. And one issue that is of importance is the idea of labor force participation. So there are two things that we need to think about when we are thinking about labor force participation. First is, of course, the definition of labor force participation, which is the percentage of non institutionalized adults that are either working or seeking a job. Of course, there would be many people who don't want or may not need a job, such as students or retired people, or those taking time off from working for personal reasons such as childcare or health concerns. But what we see that over the years, it can be seen in this graph, is which is which shows the labor force participation rates in the United States from 1960s to 2017. We see that this rate differs between men and women, and over time this rate has been consistently declining for men but consistently rising for females until about 2000s, where it leveled off and then it began to decline more recently. And this change is attributed generally to demographic change, mostly aging population and more people taking time off from working to go to college. That is putting a downward pressure on labor force participation. But another factor that economists and social scientists in general are more concerned about is the frustration of people when looking for acceptable jobs. So, US Bureau of Labor Statistics measures the number of discouraged workers, which are those workers who looked for a job within the last year but stopped because they believed that there were no jobs available matching their skills. So, if there are more and more of such discouraged workers in an economy, that would mean that economy is not doing well, and that is what will attribute this decreasing of labor force participation. So it is a question of further research to look at these factors and think about this labor force participation. So another thing that one needs to think about when thinking about labor market is labor market flexibility. And for much of the 20th centuries, top jobs tended not to be flexible at all. Most people with good jobs tended to work Monday to Friday, 40 hours a week for a wage or a salary with benefits. However, in recent decades, work has become increasingly flexible, but this has really two meanings. The first definition of flexibility includes flexible working arrangement, including setting hours, job sharing, and ability of the workers to work from home. The other type of flexibility is what is really known as a gig economy, which is a slang, which is about a full time or part time jobs that involve working under short term contracts rather than a long term contract, doing consulting, freelance, project based, or other work like Lyft or Uber drivers. And gig jobs have become really attractive to retired people, students, stay at home parents, and you would know, yourself, many of you might be involved in the gig economy. And it is especially attractive for those who want to control working hours and may not need a full time salary. However, the other side of these jobs is that often these jobs offer lower wages and no benefits, and employers can adjust the hour of gig workers or terminate them as economic conditions change. And we can see that happening in COVID, where the attrition rate as of gig workers have really increased. So let's watch a small clip to think more about gig economy.